Hey everyone, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today, as you can see, it's going to be Shatterhand for the NES, a side-scrolling action platformer that came out in 1991, at least in North America. Excellent game, highly recommended. Great graphics, great music, great gameplay. Although the gameplay actually does take a little while to get used to, because it's not as quick and snappy as something like Ninja Gaiden or a Mega Man game or something like that. There are some quirks to this game that can catch you off guard, but I'll talk about those as we go through this playthrough. So what I'm going to do here is play through the whole game from start to finish, and I'm going to talk about, various tips and strategies and things like that that I personally use to get through the game. The thing about Shatterhand is that you have so many different weapon combinations, and because your 5 main routes in the game can be played in any order, the strategies that you're going to apply or you're going to want to apply are just going to vary, from player to player. It's a preferential thing. But so what I'm going to do is go through my personal preferred route through the game. And if you're just learning the game, you can try my routes with my tactics for the first time, just to get the hang of the game. And then you can try to mix things up and try different routes, try different weapon combos and things like that. And just experiment with the game. That's probably the greatest thing about this game, is just there's so much room for experimentation. And it's really fun. So with that, let's go ahead and hit the start button here. And so when you start the game, you're actually thrown right into an introduction level. So you always have to play this level whenever you start. But yeah, this is Shatterhand. Basically what you do is you run and you jump and you can grab coins. That was a big coin, actually. If you constantly mash the punch button, you'll actually do a heavy punch, which is really good. And you can also do it while you're ducking. This game actually does have variable jump height, which is quite nice. You're going to see me doing lots of little baby jumps like so. When you punch in the air, you always do just sort of like a baby punch, just like so. These symbols right here are alpha and beta symbols, and what they do is when 3 of them are combined, you'll actually get yourself a sort of a droid pod that will, do some attacking for you. And I have a very specific pattern I like to do. I like to do alpha, beta, beta, and so we're going to be looking for a beta symbol after this. So this right here is a power-up. So we hit down to activate it, just like so. You'll notice that my jacket just turned red, which is quite nice. It also has a tiny little flashing effect, which you might be able to see if you're running this video at 60 FPS. Yeah, you basically just run around, punch things, and sometimes enemies will drop money. The tiny coins are worth about 50 bucks. The big coins are worth, I believe, 100 or so. You do have grading like this that you can jump onto. If you jump onto it with the A button, you'll just grab onto it and then immediately jump up. If you tap up to grab onto it, you'll actually hold onto it, and you can turn left and right, and you can punch while you're on it. This is a really awkward mechanic to get used to, because a lot of times you'll accidentally press A to jump onto it, and you'll think that you'll latch on, but you actually won't. You'll grab and then you'll just immediately jump off. You'll be like, why did I just jump off? I wanted to hold on to it. So you have to make sure you hold up on these things. But yeah, this is my pod I like to do. This is the reflect one, or the bounce pod, whatever you want to call it, where you can shoot out up to 2 shots at a time, and they just reflect around the playfield. They bounce off walls and things like that. You'll notice that my pod is like slightly bouncing up and down just briefly. That actually affects the height that your projectiles come out at. And what I recommend doing is using this pod specifically when you start learning the game, because the great thing about it is, while yes, it's not as powerful openly up front as some of the other droids are, but you can kill things from a distance. See, look at this. I can just imagine if there was an enemy down there, I could just kill him from up above. So it's fairly risk-free, and that's why I recommend using this one. So like right here, for instance, we just have to take our time, but we'll destroy this enemy just like so without having to do anything up close. So this is a health refill right here. We just tap down again to activate it. It's $300, and here we go. There's another alpha symbol. Now, there's a nice mechanic in this game where if you complete your symbols once more while you still have a droid, you'll actually turn into a cyborg yourself, and you'll have this really, really powerful attack. And we'll demonstrate that as we go farther into the game. Let's go ahead and just use the reflect here. See, just like that. Nice and easy. Don't even have to worry about that guy. Just reflect. And it's long range too, so, you know, I can kill enemies from a distance, and this is why I recommend this droid to start when you're learning this game. Now, something to keep in mind when you're playing this game is that when the droid collides with enemies, it does take damage, and it will get destroyed, so you have to be careful about that. You have to make sure that you're positioning your droid, you know, away from enemies and not touching enemies, otherwise you'll end up, you know, the droid will end up going away, and that's not good. The droid going away is actually, you know, what makes the game significantly difficult at certain points. So this is going to be another, you know, symbol right here. I could complete that and get into my cyborg form and use it on the boss, but I'm not going to, because when... I'll sort of explain it after the boss. Let's go ahead and focus on the boss first. So, this guy's not too bad. You could just get right up in his face with this droid and just hit him like so. Just like that. You don't want to get too close to the guy because he'll actually hit you with his gun. He'll just whip out the butt of his gun and just whack you in the face. So that was actually a pretty good one. He actually stayed right in front of me, and I didn't have to really do much work. A lot of times what he does is he jumps up onto the right wall, throws off these projectiles that rotate around the screen, and you have to jump over them. The other good thing about the bounce droid here is that even when he's up on the wall, I can direct the attacks to basically bounce at a 45-degree angle and then just go straight up and into the boss even when he's on the wall. So again, this droid is really good because, again, long range, and you have lots of flexibility with its angles and whatnot. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is going to start with this top one, move to the bottom one on the left, and then the middle, and then just top on the right, and then bottom on the right, just like so. So let's go ahead and start off with this one right here. So what I was talking about with the droid icons that you pick up, the alphas and the betas, if I had changed into my cyborg form, what would have happened is I would have come out of the level with no droid icons up top, no alphas or betas, and it would have put me at a disadvantage starting on this level. You'll also notice that I lost my droid. Your droids do not carry over from the level to level. Oops, why am I doing that? Your droids will not carry over from level to level, so this is basically a way of me being able to get my droid back right at the very beginning of this stage. And that's a grenade. This will probably be a grenade as well. The boxes with grenades in them are kind of randomized. Sometimes they'll have money in them, and sometimes they'll just have grenades. It's not guaranteed 100% of the time. However, boxes that have your alphas and your betas, those are always, you know, the same every time. So it'll always have an alpha or a beta, and just punching the icon will allow you to, you know, cycle it. So this is another reason why I wanted to have my droid on this level right here, is because those guys are really tough to deal with without any sort of projectile. So basically what I did at the end of stage 1 was prepare myself for the beginning of stage 2. Well, and the rest of stage 2, because now I can kill this guy without having to punch him. I can shoot him from a distance. You know, very, very handy. So you notice that these pods are now throwing out 2 flying enemies at once, whereas on the first level they were only throwing out 1, just to sort of get you used to them. And again, just hit these guys from a distance. If you hold down, you'll notice that the droid actually looks down, and so he'll actually aim down. So you've got 2 different arcs that you can shoot at, which is nice. So you definitely want to get used to that functionality as well. Now there is some other functionality for your droid that I didn't really talk about. So let's actually come down here. What I'm going to do is actually stand right here and just, boom, kill this guy from a distance. Very easy. But check this out. If I hold down an A, I can actually fly up the screen and then throw my droid across the screen by pressing B. I don't recommend doing that. It's just a really cool function. The reason I don't recommend doing it is simply because, you know, when the droid collides with enemies, he takes damage, and you obviously don't want that to happen. But here's an example where I could use it. Boom, just like that. But again, the droid just took damage because... Oops, now I'm getting really sloppy. Let's not get sloppy. You'll notice that I actually just lost my power. And if you take too many hits, you'll actually use your power, which is bad. Let's go ahead and wait for this guy to spawn these dudes. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and just jump past this guy, just to get by him, just like so. I'm going to skip that money. I don't really need it. And again, it's all about just sniping these guys from a distance. That's the way to make Shatterhand, I really think, the easiest. is sniping your enemies from a distance, just like so. Go ahead and kill these guys. And let's see, I thought I got some bounces here and was actually able to hit this guy. No, apparently not. Let's see. Yep, there we go. See, I can actually use my reflect. And I have to actually, you know, again, notice that your droid has 2 different positions, and it's very subtle. High, low, and that'll actually affect the bounce. And so what I had to do is actually shoot when the droid was low. If I shoot when the droid is high, you'll notice that the ball bounces in a totally different trajectory, and I don't actually hit the enemy. So you've got to, you know, really be thinking about this stuff when you're playing this game, if you want the game to be as easy as possible. And so for right here, I'm going to go ahead and just kill this guy. And you know what I'm going to do as well is, I think this symbol on the left, I think this is going to be an alpha or beta symbol on the left. I can actually get my upgrade, just like so, and to demonstrate the cyborg. And you notice that there's now a timer in the top part of the screen where the icons used to be. And once this ticks down completely, I come out of my cyborg form. But it's a very, very powerful form. You can kill enemies very, very quickly with it. And so what I'm going to do is actually let it time out, though. And the reason I'm going to let it time out... Well, actually, I don't really need to let it time out. Let's go ahead and try to access the boss. Actually, no, I'm going to let it time out because I want to show you something right here. But I want my droid to come back. So one thing I'm going to explain here is when you come out of your cyborg form, what's really interesting about it is that your droid actually replenishes his health. So if it's taking damage, it sort of replenishes itself. But because I turn into a cyborg, you'll notice that I have no alpha or beta symbols now. So that actually puts me at a disadvantage on the next level. Now, I think there was supposed to be a secret right here where you press down and you can activate, I think it's a health refill, but it's not activating. It's probably because my life is already full. But there are a couple of secret power-up blocks that you can access in this game by tapping down at the right point. So this boss is kind of interesting. It's actually one of the only 2-phased boss fights in the game. And so what we want to do is just destroy each of these droids here. And one thing you've got to keep in mind when you're using your droid is that it actually kind of puts you at a slight disadvantage when you're attacking. Your character sort of just locks into place when you use your droid. And so you've got to be really careful about that. You'll actually end up getting hit simply because you just can't move because your droid's in the middle of attacking. What we want to do is just hit this guy in the face on this red part right here, and I'm actually kind of messed up. There's actually a really easy way to handle this guy. Depending on where he spawns from, you can actually just sit up here, kind of like so, and just punch him from this grating. Just hang on the grating. He comes right to you, and then just bam, just like that. Now, when he's exploding like this, his orange parts can still hurt you. So you don't want to touch his orange parts while he's basically in his destruction phase. So again, I kind of put myself at a disadvantage by showing off the cyborg because now we're going to go into this next level with no alphas or betas, basically no icons. And so it's going to take 3 icons for me to get my first droid now on this level. So, whereas I could have just gotten the droid on my first icon pickup. So yeah, totally put myself at a disadvantage, but it's not a huge deal. This level isn't really that difficult. It's probably one of the easier levels in the game. So yeah, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. But fortunately, we still got our powered up vest, which is nice, which will make killing these enemies a lot easier. Now, one thing to keep in mind in this game is that you can actually punch bullets in this game. So if you see an enemy shoot at you, you can go ahead and just punch it. And I'm going to go ahead and, because I've taken a couple hits with my power up, I'm going to go ahead and just replenish it, basically. So, and there's our first alpha. And then just punch these guys. So you'll notice that I'm not really trying to use my my heavy punch very often in this game. And the reason for that is it puts you at a major disadvantage. And here's something else I wanted to talk about. You'll notice that this guy shoots whenever I get kind of onto his same level. He won't shoot if I stay down here like so. So what we want to do is just kind of get up there, let him shoot. We can duck his projectile. Or we can punch it if we really wanted to. And for these guys right here, just going to do a bunch of baby punches. And this should be another symbol. No, it's just money. Now, one thing with this background is this green area up here. I always thought that this was a ceiling I can bump my head on, but it's not. So you can actually jump up there. And I'm just going to go ahead and... Oops! took a hit. Got hit by his gun, wasn't paying attention. So one thing that Shatterhand does do, and this is very, very typical for a lot of old school games, is if any objects overlap with other objects, only one character or object can be attacked at that time. So what happened there down below is, you know, one of the enemies shot a projectile, and I was focused on destroying another enemy, and my punch only registered on one of those objects. So it registered on the enemy, but not the projectile that was flying across the screen. So you've got to be very careful about, you know, enemies overlapping with each other in this game. You can't just get right in their face and just mash the button like this, because your attack's only going to register on one enemy. It's not going to register on, say, all 2 or 3 enemies that are stacked on top of each other. So something to keep in mind. Like I said in the very beginning of this playthrough, there are a lot of quirks in this game that takes some time to get used to. And if you don't get used to them, you're probably gonna struggle with this game quite a bit. For instance, you know, it's easy to just be bouncing around and punching like this, and then forgetting that, oh, you're gonna go into a heavy punch, and that heavy punch is gonna catch you off guard, it's gonna slow you down, and you're gonna get hit by something when you don't want to get hit by something. So I've got sort of a cheap way of handling this whole section. So first of all, we're just going to go ahead and kill these enemies from a distance, just like so. But I have sort of a cheap thing right here. So you notice that fan will try to suck you in or blow you towards the spikes. I don't remember which way it blows you or sucks. But if you, you know, position your droid up here, just like so, your droid has to be in the topmost position for it to work. You can actually hit this guy from a distance and not even have to worry about the spikes. Now, it takes time, but, you know, it's better safe than sorry, basically. You know, this is the safe strat. So there we go. We don't have to worry about it anymore. And now what I can do is probably... I always forget how I do this one. Yep, I can do it like this. There's actually multiple ways you can do it. I think you could actually position the droid over here, and it sometimes works as well. So let's go ahead. I think it's on the upper position. Nope. Alright, come on, droid. Do your thing. Up position? Nope. Alright, now it's not working. Droid doesn't want to cooperate anymore. It was working earlier, you know. There we go. There we go, much better. And this one we can actually just point it downwards like this. So that old 45-degree angle. And it just makes that section a piece of cake. Another box right here, and this is money. So you want to do heavy punches on the money. And this guy right here, we can just walk right past him. You don't even have to deal with him. Alright, so this is probably the trickier part in the level. This is an area you have to take your time in, because there are a lot of these rotating blade things that will do lots of damage to you. And I'm going to go ahead and just slowly tap for my attacking, because I don't want to, you know, instigate my heavy attack, which is what I was doing. Those red guys do shoot out missiles, and you can punch missiles, just like you can punch bullets in this. I'm going to go ahead and refresh my power, because I took a hit or two. Now, there is an extra life opportunity up here as well, but I'm not going to bother with it, because I don't really need it. But let's just get this droid right here, and just pummel that guy like that. And I'm going to wait for this guy down here to sort of float up, so I can go ahead and just get rid of him. Gonna jump up like so. And there's another symbol. Now, when you're falling back down, you want to fall where the platforms are. If you don't fall where the platforms are, you're going to end up landing on these rotating blades. And that will be very problematic. That's how you die really fast on this second half of the level. Some money right there, and that's it right there. EX 2000. So it costs... Oops, see? That's exactly what I'm talking about. You always want to land on the platforms that you can see. If you don't, you're gonna land on the blades, and you don't want to land on the blades. So here's money. And actually, it looks like the big coins give you 200. I thought they gave you 100, but it's 200, so that's good. Gonna go ahead and sort of sacrifice my droid a little bit. You know, have him take some damage just to kill that enemy. And there's a health refill up there, but... Again, gonna go where the platform is, but I can see that I can fall down straight. Oops, took another hit, just like so. I can fall right down here, and that was actually really bad. The enemy enemy caught me off guard. He actually had started firing off screen. That was interesting. So, not a huge deal. I can at least get my health back. And this is... I don't want to do that. What I want to do is actually despawn this. I'm going to despawn it because I want to keep my letters for the next level. So if I come all the way down here, I should be able to despawn that power-up. If you cycle the screen over too far, or you scroll the screen over too far, the power-ups will disappear. So just something to keep in mind. I do want this health though, because I want as much health as I can for this boss. Unfortunately, I've taken several hits, so I've lost my power, my red suit. And let's see, I can fall straight down here. I can see the blades slightly over to the right. There we go, just like that. You notice I'm taking my time on this part. It's very, very easy to take lots of damage here. And that's just money. Now I think there's actually another letter here. Yep, and I'm not going to grab it because, again, I want to carry my letters over to the next stage. The next stage in particular is probably one of the harder levels in the game, so if I can keep my droid right from the very beginning, it'll make that level so much easier. So for this guy right here, I can try, you know, bouncing my projectiles, you know, at a 45-degree angle, like so. You'll notice that he does these, you know, these shots down to the ground. The shots are pretty much randomized, so it's kind of a crapshoot whether you can, you know, walk underneath him without taking any damage. But we're just gonna basically jump in the opposite direction and then just shoot him. When he dives towards the ground, he does that sword attack upwards, and you can always just walk into the opposite side of the arena and be completely safe. So like this, perfectly safe. So again, just try to hit this guy from a distance. It's a pretty tricky boss if you're trying to do this without a pod. Thankfully, I'm getting some good spawns, or not good spawns, but some good attack patterns with his main gun shots right here, where he can shoot down. He's not really doing a whole lot, which is great. And again, I can sort of do it from a distance like so. You can figure out your own strategy, you know, whatever you're most comfortable with. And some bosses like this, whenever you punch them, they actually get pushed backwards, which is nice. So, you know, some bosses in this game, if you do punch them, you know, they put you in relative safety, which is nice. Whereas your droids, when your droids hit the bosses with projectiles, the bosses don't bounce backwards. So there is a little bit of a risk involved with your droid. Now you also notice that there is score in this game. It's just not shown on the main screen as you play, and your coins are actually converted into points. So if you're trying to play this game for score, you do want to get as many coins as you can, and preferably not spend them. That is the high scoring strategy, is to not spend your coins. And also not take any hits, because you know you don't get as many points if you do take hits. See, I've actually put myself in a good position here on this next level. I've got two symbols, so that means I'll be able to actually convert those symbols into a droid on the very first available pickup. Now this section right here has a lot of these kind of annoying falling grenades from the sky. Now you can punch them, but it's very risky. You'll notice that I just took a hit trying to punch it. And I took another hit, because it explodes, I guess. And here's our first symbol. So there we go, we got ourselves a droid right to start. And we're just going to fall straight down here, like so. Pick up our second letter. And go ahead and just duck here. Gonna fall down like this. And let's see if I can just bounce my droid into this guy. Oh, who cares? It doesn't matter. I'll just get down like this. These guys are actually pretty easy to deal with because you can just duck their projectiles. This is always a grenade right here. This one's always a grenade. Watch out for the falling fire. And here's another letter, just like so. Gonna go ahead and get our first power up right there. And we've got these guys that basically fly around. I like to try to just hit them from a distance and then jump over them if they come too close to me. See, here's another one right here. Now, I'm not too worried about taking damage here because there is going to be a health refill, you know, at the end of this section. Or not even at the end, it's just like part way through. But always watch for this fire. It's not very difficult to deal with, and I just punched his projectile. And jump over that fire. See, there it is. There's the health refill. So I'm not too worried about taking damage. But what I'm going to do is just get rid of these guys. These shield guys take so many hits, and they're very aggravating to deal with when you've got multiple enemies to deal with. So one thing I'm going to do is actually kill these guys first, and then go grab that health. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that, because I forgot that I'm going to have to actually take damage through this fire if I want to come back. So let's go ahead and just grab this health right now. Very important to prioritize things in very specific ways in this game. Otherwise, you'll find yourself taking forced damage, and you don't want to do that. I especially don't want to lose my red suit, because that's what, you know, the red suit does so much more damage than, like, on just about anything else in the game. It's the most powerful thing. Well, I wouldn't say it's the most powerful thing, but, like, when it comes to punching, it is significantly more powerful than your green suit. Let's go ahead and just jump up here, hit this guy from above, and then fall down. Alright, we're going to actually end up moving into a bit of an auto-scroller section here shortly. And what I'm going to do is actually... Oh, man, how do I want to handle this? I'm going to skip that. Because what I want to do is use... I want to turn into my cyborg on the vertically scrolling section that I had just mentioned. The auto-scroller section. Oh, jeez, there's another one. Try to jump over it just like that. There's going to be another box here later on in this section, and that's when I want to pick it up. That's when I want to turn into my cyborg. There we go. Good start. So ideally, when you go through this section, it's best to actually avoid the boxes, because you've got all sorts of enemies to deal with. But I'm going to go ahead and be a hypocrite and pick up this box, which again turns me into my cyborg, just like so. And you don't want to hit these rotating spiky things, these gears, spiky things. Because whenever you take a hit in cyborg form, what ends up happening is your timer up top actually ticks down faster. Every hit you take depletes that number faster. And that honestly wasn't the best. That really wasn't the best. Ended up using the cyborg on parts where I really didn't want to use it. This is a tricky part right here. You've got fire that comes down in two separate places. Not doing too bad health-wise, though, at least. I should get actually all my health back right before the boss fight, which will be nice. So, now the question is, can I carry my droid into the boss? That's going to be the big issue. There we go. Let's come on over here. There's going to be another alpha or beta symbol over there on that box. But first, what you want to do is come on over here to the right. And my droid's going to take a couple of hits of damage from this guy's projectiles. So we just kind of move towards the middle right there, and there we go. And then that's it. This guy's going to go off screen. Go ahead and get a symbol, just like so. Which this will be fine. This will put us with one symbol into the next level at the very least. I don't know if I'm going to get another one. But there's some more fire. You got to watch out for that fire, and watch out for the grenades. They can catch you off guard. So there's some more health right there. There's a beta symbol, and let's press... oh, it's not right there. Okay, I'm thinking of a different level. So let's go ahead and just get that health and into the boss fight. This is a very, very tricky boss fight. If it's the one I'm thinking of. Yep. So what this guy likes to do is he likes to jump wherever you are in the screen. And what I like to do is try to just hit him from a distance. He does this fire attack. His wave attack there, he'll do either 2 wave attacks or he'll do 3. And there's his fire. Can't really do anything about that. Sometimes you can jump over the fire, but it's very dangerous. He's going to jump to wherever I am. Fire attack again, just like so. And wave attack. Wave attack. Okay. See how he just jumped to where I was on the screen? Ooh, wave attack again. Okay, good. Fire attack. Get over to the right. That was actually a really good fight. I took 1 hit. No, I took more hits than that. I had full health going into it, so I took 3 hits. It felt like 1 hit, though. It is very difficult to avoid his fire attack, which is why you need to manipulate him into a very specific part of the screen. So he'll just jump to wherever you are. Sometimes he'll jump once, then do a fire attack. Sometimes he'll jump twice, then do a fire attack. A lot of randomness to the fight, which is what makes it hard. And then you've got all those gears scrolling down the screen that you have to also avoid. So he's actually one of the harder bosses to learn. But again, he can be manipulated. Alright, making good progress through this game. This level's not too bad either. And the boss fight itself is actually pretty easy as well once you get it down. So notice that I lost my, my red suit power. And that's a grenade, and I still got hit by it. Huge hitboxes on those things. So I should get some money here, and then I can go back and grab that power. And my droid just took a bunch of damage. None of these guys are dropping money. Drop some money, guys. There we go. Of course, this other box might have dropped some cash, too. Let's check it out. Oh, symbol. That's good. So you notice that these things go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So, a lot of objects in this game, a lot of, like, I should say stage hazards have very predictable patterns that you can follow. A lot of NES games are like that, a lot of 8-bit games in general. They revolve around simplistic patterns. A lot of people struggle with these types of games, but the fact is, if you take your time and you analyze the background hazards, the stage hazards, you can avoid them very, very easily. So 1, 2, 3, and then move. Oops, took a hit. And I just went ahead and punched that guy. My droid's taking a lot of damage. You'll notice that it's blinking now, which means it's about to die. Unfortunately, I don't have... Oh, there... Okay, got a big coin. That's good. I'm gonna go ahead and just take my time with this guy. There we go. And then grab his health. Because this is a screen transition. If you've got a potential health refill, you might as well take it. Alright, lots of little sort of popcorn enemies here. Well, I wouldn't call them popcorn enemies because they take more than one hit. But they are tiny enemies that aren't very difficult to deal with. Now, these guys right here, they're kind of interesting. When you destroy them, they explode apart. But when they're in their explosion phase, you can actually just run right past them like this. Which is good if you want to try to get the money that they drop. And they drop lots of money. They always drop big coins. It's not that they drop big coins, it's that the walls that you bust open drop the big coins. But you have to destroy the enemy if you want to get the big coin. Okay, big money bag. Get some good money from that. And grenade. And this is kind of what I'm talking about here. Walk right through him to get the money. And that's okay. I took some hits, but I can get powered up again. Walk through him to get the money, just like so. But watch out for his his explosive parts. The parts that, you know... Well, never mind. Watch out for when he explodes, because those little parts that blow up and spread out, they will hurt you. The one thing I could do is I could try to hit these guys from a distance, just like so. Again, you can take things really safe. Again, once more, just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this guy from a distance. Don't really care about that tiny coin. And again. But I gotta watch out for these guys. These little guys actually respawn. The second you scroll the screen over, they'll actually come back. There we go. Didn't take a hit. Let's go ahead and do this one next before I grab that health, just in case I end up taking a hit. Trying to maximize the potential of all my health refills and power-ups and things like that. So, there we go. And this is our boss fight. And And we're not getting any of the hidden platforms, or the hidden objects. Probably because, again, my health is full. So this guy is actually another pretty easy boss fight. Very controllable. And so what I'm going to do here is just wait for him to come all the way down to the bottom. And when he makes that sound, that charge up sound, he's going to go all the way across the screen, just like so. So now actually what I want to do is I want him to destroy my droid. Because the fight's actually easier without a droid, believe it or not. If you're really close to him, his projectiles aren't going to hit you. They're just going to go right past you. You'll notice I took a couple hits in the beginning because I was too far away and the projectiles were landing right on my head. And that's it. That's the whole fight. Now, what's actually really interesting is that there is obviously a Japanese version of this game as well, and it's called Soul Brain. And there are actually some differences between the two different games, Soul Brain and Shatterhand. For one, your character is totally different in Soul Brain. He's sort of a cyborg. Also, some boss fights have been altered, so that boss fight there is actually a totally different background in the Japanese version. Also, one of the earlier bosses we fought, where there were the two droids bouncing around, there are actually two humanoid characters in the Japanese version, and there's no second phase on it. And one of the levels has also been completely altered in terms of its visual design as well. So, some interesting changes like that. But back to this version of the game, this is actually kind of a tricky level to deal with at first because you've got all these falling rocks, and it's important to know where the falling rocks are. One of them is actually coming right up here, just like so. They will catch you off guard completely if you're not careful. And let's go ahead and get a recharge on our power. I don't think your power resets from level to level, so I think its damage level is pretty much the same. And I took a couple hits on the previous boss, took a hit there. Let's go ahead and try to get some money. Gonna need that later. Another rock right here. Another one right there. And the rocks will just keep falling at the same rate. You know, once you start triggering them, they'll keep falling. And here's our first droid. Kill that guy from a distance. Same with this guy. And again, just play it safe. Kill them all from a distance. These guys don't constantly respawn. So, you know, once you destroy them, they're gone for good. Oops. Get on the other side here. Shoot that. Shoot my projectiles downwards. And there we go, just like so. And that was actually bad. I actually ended up losing a lot of money for that. That's not a big deal. I don't rely on my money too much. As long as I can buy health and the occasional power-up, then I'm good. But again, this is another reason why you want to have your droid. These guys are really tough to deal with without one. Those guys don't ever drop money or anything either, so you don't have to worry about waiting around for them to explode. But here we go. Another power-up. And I'm going to actually come on over here and see if this guy will come downwards. I don't think he's going to. So let's go ahead and just position our droid right in front of him. And there's some big money. There we go. And I'm trying to think of a way I could probably cheese this guy. Oops. Now you'll notice that in this game, you can hang off the ledge just a little bit, but then you'll slip through it. So it's not as lenient as something like Mega Man or Castlevania. Look at that, I'm just going right through the platform. I'm just in the middle of it right now. So the edges of these platforms are not as far out as they are in something like Castlevania or Mega Man. So that also makes platforming in this game a little more tricky than your typical, you know, NES game. So just an FYI. Alright, go ahead and get another big coin, and not much I can do here. Might be able to cheese this guy. Kind of like so. Or I could just do this. I'm trying to get a little too creative with my attack patterns here. Which I can just slow things down. And there's actually going to be a gravity mechanic here, which is not actually too difficult to deal with. I'm going to actually go ahead and grab this. So this is going to turn us into our cyborg. And so we can go through this next section with our cyborg. Now these guys, these spike balls, they actually don't move towards you until you get relatively close to them. So one thing you can do with your droid is, and what I'm going to do here is actually wait for my cyborg to disappear. Because any alpha and beta box, when you're in cyborg form, is just going to drop money. So what I want to do is actually come out of this form, and then open up the box. And there we go. And this is going to prep me for either the boss or the next level. And we can just hit this guy from a distance, just like so. If you get too close, they start moving towards you. If you hit them from a distance, they just kind of sit there like bumbling idiots. And I should be able to bounce my projectiles into this guy. Now, your controls are reversed now, so pressing down, well, your controls are actually still normal, but pressing down will still make you duck. And, you know, so you would think that like pressing up would make you duck, and you know, it would reflect your projectiles in a different at a different angle, but nope. I'm gonna have to actually get this guy to sort of move towards me a little bit, just to make it easier to destroy him, just like so. Have to do a little bit of baiting, a little bait and switch, and what I'm gonna do is just jump and attack this guy. Again, I'm just taking my time. Shatterhand is a tough game, but if you just take your time in a lot of these situations, it's not as difficult as it seems. Jump over those projectiles. And just like that. Big money. Big prizes. I love it. And grenade. Stay away from the grenades. And what would be amazing is if I can take my droid into the boss fight. And, you know, the boss is actually really not so much as tough, it's just really annoying if you don't have a droid. So now you'll notice that the screen has got a red background. When the background is red, you can actually, you know, fling back and forth between the ceiling and the floor. If you do a baby tap like this, you will not flip to the other side, which is very important for those ceilings with fire. And let's go ahead and see if I can get this guy to move over this way a little bit, make him a little bit easier to deal with. There we go, just like that. Sometimes my projectiles aren't hitting because he's partially off the screen. I'm gonna do some baby taps here, just like that. Taking my time. And this guy I can actually get over here. When my droid's at its highest, I can hit him just by sitting right here. Pretty much no threat. Almost no threat. Always forget that these guys explode. Just like that. You notice that I'm not mashing the fire button either. So like, I tap, 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 tap. For one, it doesn't wear out your hands. And then you also get just great timing on your attacks. A nice, good flow. No reason to just keep constantly mash the button in a game like this. You only have 2 projectiles on screen at once. I see a lot of players, you know, mashing the buttons because that's just what they do with NES games. But no, don't do that. You're gonna wear out your hands, and you're not gonna be as efficient with your attacking. So just look at that. Nice and smooth kill. Didn't require me wrecking my hands. Alright, I'm going to skip this for now, and we're going to come on up here. There we go. See, there's one of the hidden ones. That actually replenishes your health. And it looks like it still cost me 300 bucks, so I'm not going to be able to get this extra life. That's actually what I wanted to show off on the other levels in the game. But, you know, my health was already full, so... Alright, so this guy, you know, he implements the gravity mechanic that we were just dealing with. And so what I want to do is just kind of shoot him from a distance if I can. And he's got this projectile attack as well. You want to... They just go out into the direction that they're pointed in, so... And here, since our screen's red, we can actually bounce up and down just like before. And let's see if we can just bounce our projectile into him like that. I'm going to jump up here like so. Now, when the screen is blue, or the background's blue, we can only walk on the ceiling. When it's red, we can go back and forth. And when it's green, we can only walk on the ground. So for this boss, I just take my time. I just take my time. And that's not going to work. Still got to bounce into him. Okay, nice. Just taking my time. I don't want to take any hits. I also don't want to lose my droid. Well, losing my droid actually doesn't really matter that much. Because you lose your droid anyway after you beat a boss. But still, I prefer not to lose it because it makes this fight so much easier. If I lose my droid, then I have to actually fight the boss normally with my fists, and that is a big pain in the butt. It is not fun. But we're probably going to have to do it on this final level coming up here. Because the way the final level works, the way it gives you your drops and things like that, I usually end up at that boss, the boss refight, with no power-ups. So yeah, this is actually going to take us into our final stage. And the final stage is a grueling level. It's very difficult to learn, and there are no checkpoints on it. So if you die anywhere in the level, you get kicked all the way back to the very beginning. So let's hope that we can have a good first run here, and not have to redo any of the game. Alright, final stage time. Alright, lots of tricky stuff on this level. But you notice that I've prepped myself to get my droid early, which is good. So we've got this guy that just shoots projectiles at us. And we're just gonna jump up and wait, and then hit him like that. Just take my time with this guy right here. Again, baby punches. And I like to get up and just attack that guy. And we're gonna go ahead and just sit right here like this. Just sit right here. Hit this guy like that, and again, gonna do the same thing. Punch that guy. And here's our first power-up. And I'm gonna snipe this guy from a distance. Don't really care about that money, not gonna worry about it. Another symbol right here, gonna grab the alpha. This guy cannot be destroyed up top, so don't even bother. Your projectiles will not hit him. And we're gonna go ahead and just try to snipe our enemies from a distance. So I'm gonna inch my way forward just lightly, like so. And just hit these guys from a distance. Notice that they drop grenades. Grenades are actually very dangerous here. And they'll just constantly do it. I'm gonna get right in front of him, kind of like so. See what's in here. There's a beta symbol. Let's grab another power-up. Ooh, it's not letting me because I guess I'm actually full. So it looks like your suit does... Well, I don't know if it recharges because I don't think I took a hit in the previous boss. But yeah, looks like our red suit is actually fully maxed out, which is good. And again, just gonna snipe these guys from a distance. Might as well. You know, I've got the opportunity. Might as well do it. Sure, why not? Let's do it. I was thinking it would probably be better to not do it. And I don't actually need that health either, which is interesting. Usually I need some health here. Oops. Took a hit. Not a big deal. Alright, and so now we have boss refights. Kind of like a Mega Man game. Most like Mega Man 1, actually. Where the boss refights are actually done in, you know, the levels themselves. As opposed to teleporting you out to a different room or anything like that. And here we go. Like I said earlier, we can actually bounce our projectiles into him. So I didn't really want to grab that cyborg suit, but, you know, because it reset my letters. But it did replenish my, it did at least replenish my droid, which is good. So what's interesting about these guys that shoot the fire, you can actually just walk right through them as long as fire is not being shot out. Oops, took a hit. Jump over the grenades. And this is going to be a alpha or beta symbol. And there's going to be a health refill opportunity here soon too, I believe. Again, just use our projectiles. And I don't know if I can actually hit this guy. Okay. Looks like it's when it's more in the middle. There we go. Here's our health refill. Boom, just like that. Pretty good run of... I was gonna say, pretty good run of this game, actually, all things considered. You know, I haven't died yet. I haven't lost too much health overall. But a big reason for that is that I'm just taking things safe. You know, I'm not rushing my way through. This is a game where you do not want to rush your way through, unless you're a speedrunner. But, you know, for a casual playthrough like this, where you're just trying to beat the game, maybe get a 1 credit clear, maybe get a 1 life clear. You know, you obviously don't want to rush through. This is one of the trickier little jumps in the game. So what I need to do is position myself kind of down like that. And just see if we can get this guy over a little bit. This is fine. So I have to jump and attack, and just get my timing right on that jump and attack. For right here, what I'm going to do is... actually, it doesn't even matter, because I'm going to turn... If my droid gets destroyed, I have to pick this up to replenish my droid. If I get the cyborg like this, it's going to replenish my droid afterwards, and I'm still going to have no icons. So... getting the cyborg actually makes the most sense right now. And it's going to throw us right into our boss fight, which is Sword Guy from earlier. Which is actually a lot easier to deal with because you don't have the gears in the background that you had on the previous incarnation of the fight. And there we go, he's done. And then our droid's health gets replenished. And then we're back with, you know, back with no icons. So back to the gravity. So you notice that the color palette actually changed. And you can go both up and down. And let me see if I can kill this guy from a distance. Well, that distance, I guess. Same here. Just like that. Take my time. And once again, just reflect. Oops. There's actually a pod up above that's spawning enemies, and it'll spawn them off the screen, which is a little aggravating to deal with. Alright, there's an alpha. Definitely want that. And again, hit this guy from a distance. Don't bother just jumping down there and hitting him head on. It's not worth it. And I went ahead and just let my droid, you know, basically sacrifice itself to hit that guy. And let's just go ahead and just punch this one, just like so. And gonna get over here like this. This is a really tricky section. It's a little disorienting. It's actually very disorienting. So, alright. And look at this, we've actually got our droid at this boss. Which is actually, I think, the first time that's happened for me. So again, gonna focus on just hitting him from a distance. And hopefully being able to save my droid. Otherwise the fight is super, super tedious. And there's one thing I hate with, you know, certain skill-based games is tedium. Is when a boss actually, or an enemy isn't, or even a level, isn't really challenging, it's just tedious. It's long and time-consuming. And there it goes. So now I have to actually finish this guy off with just my fists. And that's actually pretty tricky. I actually kind of don't want to do anything until he actually is just moving around the screen randomly. Oops, took a hit. When he does that projectile, it switches the sort of the gravity. And that was good. He was almost dead, so it only took 2 more punches. That's good. So we only took 2 hits. We still have a good chunk of our health bar. Unfortunately, we're not really powered up, but this is the last stretch of the game. And again, I don't want to use my heavy fist or my strong fist because it'll just leave me wide open. So punch these guys, and I can actually, if I time it just right, I can still punch them. And again, you can only hit one enemy at once, so I wanted to make sure that those enemies flew past this guy. I'm just gonna jump over these guys now. Oof, she took another hit. Not a big deal. We're gonna get a health refill towards the end here, so. And let's go ahead and get our droid. If I can punch it, there we go. And what I want to do is actually punch these first, and then jump up here. Grab the power up, and then grab onto this. Just work our way up. Now I really want to have this droid at the final boss. If I don't, then the final boss is going to be a little more tricky. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes you just end up falling off like so if you're not careful. Again, you can slip off the platforms earlier than you can in something like Castlevania. So you got to be very careful about that when you're playing this. Unfortunately, I ended up losing that icon. What would have been great is taking my cyborg into the final boss. It would have made the final boss so much easier. And just duck right here to avoid that. And there's a beta symbol. There is a chance we might get one more, actually. Just gonna skip that guy. I was gonna try to kill him, but not worth the trouble. Okay. Droid time. Great. Or cyborg time, I should say. So we'll get to use the cyborg at least a little bit on the boss. So the boss is kind of interesting. He's got multiple different attacks, and what attack he does is just completely random. So we're going to go ahead and just try to tank for the beginning with my cyborg here. So when he sort of raises his arms, he'll do this 3-way projectile. You can jump over it, or if you're super close, you can duck it. When he ducks down on the ground like that, he will do a charge attack like that, or sometimes he'll actually go into the air. So what I actually like to do is, if I'm just using my droid like this, is just stay back from a distance. And then watch for when he charges up. There we go, just like that. Now sometimes he'll actually jump into the air and then try to slam down onto the ground. But again, I just like to keep things sort of safe at a distance, just like so. Boom. He didn't even do his air attack, which is kind of a shame. I wanted him to show it off. Because when he does his air attack, that's when things get chaotic, because he destroys the ground, and if you touch the ground, you'll take damage. And sometimes he'll do like 3 of them back to back, and it just really throws you off guard and makes it a difficult fight to stay in control of. But that wasn't a bad fight at all. He only did his projectiles, and he did his charge attack. When he does his charge attack, all you have to do is just jump. And then when he does his projectile attack, if you're far enough back, you can just duck, and that's it. If you're super close to him and he does his projectile, you can jump and jump over it. But yeah, that's it. That was the final boss of Shatterhand. We just beat the game. Pretty good playthrough overall, actually. We didn't die at all. We didn't take that many hits. You know, we weren't really close to dying at any part of the playthrough, which was great. And I was able to show off a bunch of different things in the game. So hopefully, you know, for those of you guys learning this game for the first time, hopefully it was helpful for you. But yeah, this is going to be a fairly decently length credits roll. And then after that, I actually want to show something off real quick. There are actually a couple of cheats that you can activate in this game, and we'll try to do that after the credits roll out. But yeah, Shatterhand, very cool game. If you guys have never played it, I highly recommend it. It's definitely on the expensive side if you're trying to collect physical cartridges, but you know, as usual, what I recommend is grabbing yourself a flash card if you want to use real hardware to play this game, or you know, fire it up in software emulation on whatever preferred device you like. Yeah, give the game a go if you haven't played it. for those of you guys that have played it and kind of struggle with the game, hopefully the playthrough, you know, will help you out on future playthroughs, subsequent playthroughs. If you guys have any tips of your own, or if you have any, you know, preferred option setups or droid setups, let me know what you prefer and why down in the comment section. I haven't actually experimented with a lot of the droid setups because I'm just very comfortable with the alpha beta beta combination. Basically the bounce droid is, I guess, what we can call it. So yeah, it's very easy to play it safe when you've got the bounce droid. You can snipe things from a distance. You don't have to rush through the game. You know, it's just like, this isn't Ninja Gaiden or something like that. You can kill things from a distance, and you know it's great. You know, it's very doable. It didn't take me long to learn this game many years ago when I first played it because of the bounce droid. And when I did try some of the other droid options, I had to get closer to enemies. You know, I had to put myself in at greater risk, you know, to destroy a lot of these enemies. So, but yeah, I would love to hear your preferred combinations if you are already familiar with this game. So, but yeah, finally glad to get this one knocked out. For those of you guys wondering, I actually meant to do this a long time ago, but I'm using a retro USB AVS console to record this, and for a long time Shatterhand actually had mapper issues, and certain sections like the auto scroller vertical section on the fire level would glitch out like crazy, and it was pretty much unplayable. And but because by that point I was recording NES games with my AVS, I wasn't going to switch over to a regular NES because that would mean I'd have to use composite video, and that would not be cool. You know, it would be very inconsistent with the rest of my videos, so I chose not to do this game. But Retro USB in the last year has put out a new firmware update for the AVS, which fixes graphical issues on you know, various games, you know, including Ninja Gaiden 3 as well as Shatterhand. And so yeah, a couple months ago I finally got back around to practicing this game to do this this Let's Play. So long overdue, but I'm glad I finally got it knocked out, and looks like it was a pretty good playthrough nonetheless. So, but yeah, what we do on the title screen is when the press start button is flashing, we do A B B B B A B A B A B A B, boom, and look at this, test mode. And what you can do is you can go to sound test menu, which is awesome, and you cycle through it with the A button, and then you press select to activate the music. You press start to go back, and you also have a sound test menu. And it looks like you can actually potentially practice the various bosses in the game. So now this guy's pattern here that I was talking about earlier, you can actually trigger it higher up on the screen, but it's a little more work, so you're best off just getting him down to the bottom like so. And when he charges up, that's when you want to jump over, just like so. So let's see what happens after we beat the boss, if it's gonna throw us back to the options screen. But yeah, you can see how this guy is way easier without the droid. Punch, 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 and then jump. Ooh, if you time it just right, it looks like you can just line up your jump and just kind of like land right in front of him. Hey, look at how so much weaker I am with the green suit. It's really bad. There we go. Takes so many hits. Alright, let's see what happens here. Nice, right back to the test mode. This is actually really awesome because the bosses are actually really challenging in this game. Yeah, very challenging bosses. So let's see what we can do with this guy with just our fist. 1, 2, jump, jump, jump. Fire, just like that. Oops. Jump, jump, jump. Yeah, you don't want him to get you cornered. If you get cornered, then he's going to do fire, and you're not going to be able to avoid it. There we go. Fire, just like that. See how this guy can be manipulated. He just jumps to wherever you are on the screen. 1, 2, oh, jump, and fire. Gonna take a hit. Oh, I took a hit. Jump, Jump. He jumped. Fire. I'm gonna try to run over under here. Yep. Fire again. Jump. 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 Man, look at that. It's very satisfying to beat these bosses with just your fist, but it's it's tough, man. You've got to know these patterns perfectly. And that wasn't a great fight in terms of how much damage I took, but I'll take a fist-only fight against that guy any day. I'm pretty happy with that. So, I don't know if it's going to let us do... I don't think it's going to let us do the final boss. Yeah, no, there's no final boss here, it looks like. But yeah, so what I was talking about earlier with being able to push these guys with just your fist. So boom, notice that he moved away. So these guys are a lot harder with just your fist. But again, that's one of the great things about Shatterhand is there's so many different ways to defeat, you know, these bosses and fight the bosses. Not just with, you know, fist only, but, you know, you've got so many different droid options as well. There we go. And he's not going into his other phase either. It might require him to actually go all the way to the other side of the screen. And if he doesn't go to the other side of the screen, then he's not going to initiate his next phase. So in a way, it's actually easier with just your fist. You actually have less that you have to avoid, as long as you've got your timing down. And it's just time consuming because I'm so weak right now. If I had my red suit, I would have defeated this guy already. See, now he's gonna go into another phase. Oops. No, not really. He's going back. He goes back and forth a couple times before he goes into his other phases. Or his other cycles, I should say. It's not really a phase. Phases are when you defeat, like, you know, you do a certain amount of damage and then the boss changes his patterns completely permanently. Those are different boss phases. Boss cycles are when, you know, he's got specific patterns that he cycles through one by one and then it just repeats. So for that guy, he goes across the screen a couple times and shoots downwards, and then he tosses out these spiked mines, and then he gets down onto the ground and does his sword attack, and then the cycle repeats. So those are what different boss cycles are. So using the term phase was actually incorrect. So, well, yeah, that is Shatterhand, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this playthrough. I enjoyed practicing it and, you know, relearning the game. I had first beaten this game back in, I think it was like 2012 or 2013. Hell, it might have even been a little bit later. It might have been like 2014 or 2015. When I had first beaten this game. But, you know, it's a great game. I'm glad I learned it and played through it. It's, you know, probably one of the better action games on the NES. Not necessarily because of its basic combat. I don't think its basic combat is as satisfying as something like Castlevania or Mega Man, but it's the flexibility that the game gives you that I think makes it stand out with all the different droid combinations and whatnot. Your basic punching is just that. It's very, very basic, and it can be a little tricky to get the hang of because you can accidentally throw out a heavy punch and then leave yourself wide open and just take damage, and that gets very, very aggravating when stuff like that happens. So really requires you to be on points, but because of all the droids and whatnot and the level selection option, you know, you've got so many different ways you can tackle this game, which is great. And it's also a great looking game, just a great sounding game too. I mean, just look at that. It's top tier stuff for the NES and just that era, that 8-bit era in general. It's definitely one of the best of its kind, I would say. So, but yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. Really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you watched all the way to the end, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if the video helped you out, if you're learning the game yourself, or if you need any other tips, or let me know if you're struggling with something and maybe I can help you out. And yeah, hopefully this will prove useful to a lot of you guys out there, or just, you know, entertaining and fun to watch nonetheless. So, but yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I've got many Let's Plays like this and many many more to come. Feel free to give the video a thumbs up as well. It helps videos like these get noticed in YouTube's search results, so other fellow gamers trying to learn this game, might be able to pick up on this video. For everyone else already subbed, thank you for your usual support. And with that, guys, I'm out. Until the next one, take it easy.